And now most of the things that are manufactured in this country, at least 60% of the stuff that we use in this country come from overseas. So how can you get growth when nothing is being manufactured here?
You get growth first by creating an environment that manufacturers can stay here. I've never talked to a CEO, and I've talked to many, of any major corporation that wanted to leave America, that wanted to move manufacturing somewhere else. Never. But the environment here, both the tax environment and some other local tax issues as well, but federal tax issues and the high labor cost used to be one of the biggest issues to move manufacturing. But what has happened now is that an interrupted flow of energy. Now, keep in mind, when you look at third world countries that have manufacturing moving there, it takes 10 people to produce what we can produce with one person here in America, and they have a constant interruption in the flow of energy and very, very volatile energy prices. And energy and productivity outweighs the advantages of moving if the tax policies are good. And I believe that one of the things that everybody is talking about with creating growth here in America is one of the things that they're missing when they talk about energy is that a good, strong energy policy is also going to create not an energy revolution, but it has the potential of creating an industrial revolution as well. Because I believe that we can bring, look, car manufacturers, Honda, Hyundai, BMW, Volvo, Volkswagen, Toyota, big one, car companies understand that it's far more efficient to manufacture on a constant, consistent basis without worried about energy and manufacturing with a highly productive labor force, and not to mention some import-export cost to import cars from wherever they are to America is very expensive, or to export, is very expensive to just have manufacturing here. Car manufacturers are on the front lines and have figured out that it's far better to have the quality of productivity and the amount of productivity that you can have here, and paying the higher wages is insignificant compared to all the other benefits. That car manufacturing mentality will easily trickle through the global economy if we have an environment here in America that is welcoming to those manufacturers and welcoming to American manufacturers and helping to keep them here and keep them from leaving. We can't even imagine. I've often said, if I were a company, I would have shut down a long time ago in America and moved to Ireland. I mean, when you have a company, a major corporation, and keep in mind that these major companies are operating on very small margins. All we hear about is they make, I'll use 3M, for example. 3M, all we hear about is the hundreds of billions of dollars they make every year. But we need to understand that they make and manufacture 55,000 different products. Their profit margin is very low, 3%. It's not a lot. but they're making such volume that, of course, they're making billions of dollars. Can you imagine if you can add if you're working on a 3% margin and all of a sudden our taxes now are in line with, say, Ireland, which is at 12.5%, we're at 15%, and that tax margin is going to now add another 1%, being conservative, to your profit margin. 1% is going to equate to hundreds of billions of dollars in profits for the company. They're not going anywhere. They're going to stay right here in good old America. They're the kinds of ways that we grow the economy by creating the environment. For instance, Hillary Clinton would say that she's going to add thousands of jobs. It is not the government's job to create jobs. It's not their job. She might think that's the case, but it's not their job. Government cannot create jobs, of course, unless it's a government job by spending more money, but they can't create jobs. Their job is not to create jobs. Their job is to create an environment that the private free market companies will create jobs in. That's what their job is in the government. We have done just the opposite in the last 10 years. We have created an environment of getting out of here instead of a welcoming environment and an environment. We've spent 8 years demonizing company profits as if, profits are a dirty word here in America. Yet they're the very things, the profit is the very thing that creates larger companies, better companies, and more jobs. Some have not figured that out yet. So we can create an environment. We have all the tools. We have more tools than any other country in the world to create an incredible environment of economic growth.